Welcome one and all to Spielberg, up in the Austrian mountains, of course, at the Red Bull Ring for round number 4 of the RLH Euro Cup. And it's looking a little bit overcast above the Austrian circuit. And of course it's day number 3 of the running here at the Red Bull Ring, the final day of us here in Austria. Next week we of course jet away to Le Castellet in France, but the attention tonight is here in Austria, and what is going to be, I'm sure, a very good race as always. Which one of the two Williams is out first? It's Paris, going to be the first car out on track. Looking overcast, but it is dry, I can confirm, which is going to make the race very interesting. It's one of those tracks you can be aggressive in the race. It's 3 DRS zones, make it one of the best tracks for battling, and I'm sure with 15 drivers and with such a competitive field, that is exactly what we are going to see. You can see the cars on the minimap flooding out the pit lane at the moment. The 2 racing points line astern as things stand. It's also one of these qualifying sessions, because it's such a short track, you can get a lot of running in, you know. It's but of course on the other hand, it's so easy to invalidate. It's so easy just to push that a little bit harder, because there's 10 official corners, 8 proper corners you have to really take. And we'll see how we'll follow this first lap on board the Williams driver, see how he fares in the opening stages of this qualifying session. But he comes onto the main straight. DRS now activated and running down towards turn 1, climbing up the hill. And he's going to jump on the brakes just after the 100 metre board, using all the track and a little bit more, not clipping that inside sausage curve and getting a really nice and smooth exit as he climbs and runs towards the top of the hill, up towards turn 3. Of course, we're on the second of the 3 DRS straights, 18.2 in the first sector. Pretty handy so far. Well judged in the braking point, smooth on the throttle as well, and gets the power down very nicely. Yellow flagged up the road, and we could see quite a bit of that. Short track means we could have quite a lot of guys backing off towards the end of the lap. Pretty nicely on at the inside apex of turn 4, gets the power through what isn't really a corner, that is 5. Now heads into this deep into this middle sector, gets on the power nicely, and Fifi gets out of the way nicely too. Good purple, of course, for the Williams driver in the middle sector, using all the curbs as well, maximising the speed on the exit. Now the tricky turn 9, how fast is he going to take it? Flicks the car in, just about 230 kph. Now drop it down into the final corner, gets the power smoothly. It's a valid lap from Pui. This is going to be a good time, a 1:03.8, brilliant banker lap, it must be said. So far the times are going to start to come in quickly, and I think Daddy Spritz is going to be the next car down the final corner. Opted for 4th gear, gets on the power, DRS open towards the line. Man, currently 3rd in the championship, goes into P2. Fifi just started a flying lap, but Gamer goes into P3. And the 2 racing points, I've missed them both. Zabajak has gone into P2, and it looks like Jones may have invalidated his time or made a little error somewhere. And Cosmo just about to set his time. He goes into P4 just behind his teammate with that time. And the Haas of Haas, the only Haas this evening, championship leader Goncalves not racing tonight, which could be pivotal considering Shakatak is. We'll see how Shakatak is getting on his lap. Heads towards turn 9 now. Flicks the car in, opting for a bit of 6th gear, but keeping higher speed than some other guys we've seen so far in this quality session. Nice and smooth exit, and towards the line it's going to be a 1:03.7, goes on a provisional pole. Does the Mercedes driver. Jones going again, it seems. Milo we run up towards the top of the hill, and someone said a good time. I think it's Fifi. Fifi finding a little bit more time and getting it all wrong at turn 1, but avoiding any walls as such. Octavio may have invalidated that previous run. We'll see how Milo gets on in his flying lap. Actually, Jones is almost... and that looked a little bit awkward. He's kept it valid though. The run towards the line for Jones is going to put himself into P8 of 1:05 with that lap. And as I said, we'll go back to Milo on a push lap at the moment. In the middle sector, 44.8. It's his combined time, runs a little deep through turn 7, and now the run towards the 2 final corners. 2 very important corners on this lap. And flicks the car in. Just about stuck. It was sliding all the way through turn 9. Gets on the power now, running towards the line. It's going to be 1:04.6. Goes into P8. Looking very competitive already at this phase in qualifying. Shakatak goes even faster at the top. It's 1:03.5. I think he's done 2 runs on those tyres So definitely more in the tank, and there's a car facing the wrong way. That's Fifi. Currently in P6, but he can get going and jump back into the pit lane. No worries there, and Octavia goes in a P9 in his Red Bull. And now is the other McLaren of Skipper getting on. At this point, gets to the power pretty well. And now into sort of the middle sector. It's sort of... The middle sector actually ends just before we get to the next corner, but I feel the middle sector is sort of... It carries on this sort of middle section as you look on the mini-map, that sort of inlet to the general shape. And now my Skipper... Can he get anywhere near his teammate? Can he get into the 103s? I think our pole position time could be in a low 1:03. And the Skipper onto the final corner, clumps the yellow Tosca, but gets away with it. Without an invalidation across the line, it's going to be 1:05.4, goes into P11 at the moment. Matt Johnson, another driver on a flying lap, one of 2 drivers yet to set a time as he goes into this middle sector. He's already in the middle sector. Runs a little bit wide, and that's going to cost him. He's invalidated this current attempt. It looks to be a decent lap as things stood. Hugen on a just about to start his first lap of the session. Set of medium tyres, trying something different. Actually, Huss on the mediums as well. In P10, some guys may be trying to look for that alternate strategy, but a lot of guys you can see on the left-hand side have gone for 2 laps. They've done 2 laps on their current tyres. Shack Attack, Pui, Milo, Annoy Gamer, Cosmo. So something interesting, you can push that tyres for a second lap, which does give you higher tyre way to start the race. Maybe people just trying to get their eye in this early phases of qualifying. So Zabajaka currently in P3 has started a new lap. Skipper going again. A Skipper found time. He has, goes out to P10, so improving in that McLaren. So look, guys finding time on their second runs. It might just be the case of sort of getting familiar with the track and getting familiar with the session. We'll see how it sort of plays out through qualifying. Matt Johnson going again as well. But Hugen round the final corner and towards the line. Can he get ahead of Huss in the battle between the mediums? He can't on this occasion. Just misses out. Matt Johnson invalidated, I think, at the same place on the exit of turn 6, between 6 and 7. And he's going to go again. He's got fuel in the car to do another lap. He's maybe just trying to get a representative delta. We'll see what the time is, though, for Matt Johnson. Across the line, it's a 1:05.2 in the end for him. And Pui, can he close the gap? About just under 0.3 of a second between himself and Shagtag. He's 2,000s up in the third sector, having a really clean first sector and getting on the power nicely. Short shifting up in a third, then up in a fourth. And maybe getting even a distance tow from up the road. Hopefully the 2 cars don't get in the way of the Williams driver. Currently down in P10 in the championship. But I think the driver's definitely got a little more pace in his hands, and one I think we're going to see improving throughout this season. 2 tenths up now. Where's that car gone? In the gravel. Didn't expect that one, but at least it's out the way. Pui, though, towards the final 2 corners. He's going to throw it in to turn 9. Oh, I didn't think that was going to stick. Somehow it did. Through the final corner we go, and that was, oh, it was tantalising, guys. That was a Lando Norris level of closeness. It was a 1:03.6. And Zach Jackal, while we've been watching that, has gone into P2. He's jumped ahead of Pui. I don't think Pui's time would have been good enough to be ahead of the Racing Point driver, but Cosmo's finding time, and he's invalidated as well. As drivers starting to push the limit. Fifi, 2 tenths of a second up now. Can he find the time? Needs to find a little bit more to join the 103 club. Into turn 9 we go. Nice and smooth. And I think that's the key to this track. Keeping the rhythm, keeping the rhyme. And towards the line, Fifi is going to put that Alpha Tauri into the 1:03. Brilliant final sector from Fifi. And he goes into P4 with that lap. And as I flick down, Daddy Spritz goes into P5. Finding a little bit more pace himself. Matt Johnson not going his way in the session at the moment. Trying to find a driver who's on a lap. Maybe Matt Johnson going again. Milo on an out lap. Cosmo pushing Octavio, 10th down at the moment. It looks like he's going to be ducking into the pit lane with that line. We'll see how Jones, what's his first set to look like. He's about a 10th up, 16.1 for the Racing Point driver. Nominated for driver of the week last for Monaco. Great drive from him. And we'll see how he gets on. Someone's improved, and that looks like the Haas. Haas has gone up to P5, his first lap on the softs. And that's a great first lap on the softs to put himself tantalising close to the 1:03 club. What's Jones's middle sector going to look like? Can he keep it within track limits? Yes, he can. Maybe a little bit more cautious this time around. 0.2 of a second up in that first sector. And as he now heads towards turn number 9, yellow flags in front. There's a car on the inside, and that's going to put him off a little bit. Looks like he managed to keep the speed up relatively well there. Shakatak just started that. Will flick to him in a moment's time. Jones, 10th improvement. P10 is where he is. Shakatak starting his flying lap. Some nice toes up the road. You'll be able to see, though, that Zabajak has really closed in on him, but he's got 1/100th of a second, maybe just getting that benefit of the straight line speed on the run up towards turn 3. Now, though, nothing much more he can do. He's got a bit of a gap to the Alpha Tower. He's in front. Looks like Huss just coming back into the pit lane as I look on the mini-map. Yes, he has. But committed through from Shaq going through turn number 4. Now weaving his way through the middle sector. How much did he dare to use the curbs on the exit? It looks like he's gone away with it completely because he's found a 1/10.5 in that middle sector. And as he runs towards the end of this lap, it's all about full send. Flicks the car in, drops it down to 6th gear, keeping it above 250 kph, nice and smooth on the curbing. Round the final corner again, judging it to perfection in terms of track limits across the line. It's a 1 minute 3.249. That's a brilliant lap to put himself, well, to keep himself on provisional pole. Skipper just about to start a flying lap. Milo darting into the pit lane instead. So watch his teammate Skipper put on a fresh set of softs. I'm going to see how he fares on this lap. 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in this session. Very competitive so far. 10th and a bit improvement there from Skipper. Goes in deep. And that's going to cost him, I would imagine, not getting the best of exits as well. Just, awkwardly on the sausage curb. And I think he may have to go again with this one. And after such a good first sector, a little bit lost there. I thought that was a bit deep in the brakes. That was really nice into turn 4. She needed that up at turn 3. Bit of a car park ahead of us, and oh, that's not the nicest line. I think we're going to abort this one. Skipper will be thinking. He's 3/10 down at the moment. So not going his way. He definitely knows there is time to find. I would expect on tape. On an outlap, Matt Johnson also on an outlap. Shakatak into the pit lane. Not the best preparation for Zabajaka. That's the other way for Milo. Sorry, for Skipper, I think there. We'll see how he fares on this lap. He's got to find a hell of a lot of time to close in on Shakatak in front, but a nice toe from the McLaren could help him out. Skipper's going to be good again. We'll see how his first sector fares on this lap. 5,000's up, so going better, and it looks like he's made a much nicer run into turn number 3. And Shabajaka, it's so easy to get on the power. A little bit too aggressive there. I've done it myself in the past, and sort of the camber of the corner can just make it easy to slide the car around. And Matt Johnson snakes past as well. We'll see how Skipper fares in the middle sector. If he's a bit cleaner, a much nicer run into turn 6 this time around. No cars parked on the outside as we carry on. Look at that, rather than 3/10 down, he's 3/10 up. Who's that's gotten improved up the top? Hui goes into P2, jumps Sabajaka, and they're slowly reeling in Shakatak. Will the Mercedes driver come out for another run? We'll have to wait and find out. Skipper, a little bit too aggressive when he turned into the final corner. Old tape. Finding some improvements in P14, 0.8 on that lap alone. We'll see, is he going to improve on this first sector? Is he looking to push again? Somebody's just improved. Matt Johnson, first good lap on the board, or first valid lap on the board. Goes into P8, so we're happy with that one. In such a tight group, just above the 1 minute 4s. 7,000's down in the first sector. 3 minutes 50 left in this qualifying session. 15 drivers really giving it everything in the Austrian hills, and a 10 minute bit down for Haas, not going his way on this current lap, and I think he's backed off with that one. Pivot towards the line. Interesting. Not too sure what's going on. Actually, is this his best set? This is his best set. So he's doing extra laps on what could be his race start set. Interesting to see. So unless if he's sure he's got enough pace in reserve to really go for it, and I assume this will be an in-lap for him. Dali Spritz Heading up towards turn number 2. What's his first air to look? And like he's bang on. Completely equalled what he managed earlier on in the day. It's a very short outlap on this track, but quite a few guys in the pit lane. Matt Johnston has retired. That's down at the exit of turn 1. Couldn't quite see him there. But an awkward qualifying session for him. And are we going to see a driver jump into the pit lane that didn't follow the pit lane line? Yes, we are. You've got to be careful, because if you get reported, I think that's a slam dunker. Annoy Gamer finding time in the first sector, 2/10 up on this lap. Who was I watching before I cut away? Daddy Spritz, there we go, towards the line for the Alfa Romeo. Can he get in the 1 minute freeze? Yes, he can. He goes into P4 with an identical time to Fifi. Shouldn't Fifi be ahead because he set his lap first? Who knows? Who knows? Huss just starting a flying lap, I think. Down towards turn number 1. We get a nice rearward shot of the Haas. And now climbing up the hill. What can he manage on this current lap? Looks like Daddy Spritz happy where he's going. Annoy Gamer's had an off on the exit of turn 7. Turn 8. But he's managed to get going and actually darting the pit lane. So it looks like both Mercedes drivers, that's where they will qualify out best at the moment. But what can the chasing pack manage? As normally get the big crescendo. Actually, one of the Mercedes drivers is coming out now. I imagine that would be Shack Attack, leaving it nice and late. Haas finding a little bit of time at the moment. This will put him into the 1 minute freeze. Can he manage it? Needs to make sure this final sector is as good or even better than he's done previously. Little bit deep and the car just wouldn't stick. It just slid through turn 9 and that's cost him invalidation, unfortunately there for him. And not going his way on that run. Jones finding time at the moment. This will probably nip him into the top 10. Can he get a little bit wide in the first part of 9, but carried the speed through, and again clean through the final corner, but just that little nip on the inside, caught the bump, and then the car just slid and he couldn't quite keep it together. And that's going to invalidate his next run as well. So Jones is done in qualifying. Fifi, I think just on maybe made a mistake in the early phases of that lap. Looks like we're going to have a lot of drivers pushing right at the death, and the times are going to be coming in thick and fast in a moment. How is Zabajaka going to fare in this first stage? We're trying to keep an eye on as people cross the line. Looks like Shack Attack just about to start a flying lap. Daddy Spritz on sort of a... Actually, I don't think he's going to make it to the line, so I think he might be darting to the pit lane. The Alfa Romeo driver won't improve. Pubi's not going anyway, so people will start the race on old tyres. 3 lap old tyres for the man in second place at the moment. Fifi equaling what he did in the first sector. Checkered flag is out now. Hugen, I think, will be the next car to set a lap, and he's marginally up on what he is at the moment. Can he take himself out of P15? Nice and aggressive on the curbs, carried the speed though through on the exit. The final corner to negotiate, was tight on it but didn't invalidate it. Now the run towards the line is going to be a 1 minute 15, stays P15. Jones goes out of the way. Where is Zabajaka? And Zabajaka's in the wall! Somehow managed to avoid a retirement, and will get that racing point off and away, but just sending it too much in the end, and he will be P3 in qualifying. Shack Attack though has backed off as well. So he won't improve. Is there a bit of a car park forming down at out of the final corner? I think another car was sort of somewhere, and I think that is qualifying it. Done and dusted, but Shack Attack didn't need to do the final run in the end. And he's our pole sitter this evening. Sort of ruined of a big... I was sort of expecting the times to come flooding in, everyone would be out right at the death, but no, not on this occasion. And the Mercedes driver takes pole here in Austria. Has a chance, has a very strong chance to lead the championship today. If you finish today, you score a point. That's how it's going to work. With 15 drivers racing, and of course top 15 score points. And with Goncalves not here, I think if Shaq is P13 or higher, he will lead the World Championship. of course subject to how people behind do. But it's Shack on pole, then Pui, then Zabajaka, Daddy Spritz, Fifi are your top 5, and run through the rest of the grid on the formation lap. And of course, what tyres do the guys outside the top 10 decide to go for? A medium, a hard. A safety car isn't that common here. I think just because of the way the track is, and you know, you don't. It's not a difficult track in all honesty. And if you do make a mistake, there is quite a large sort of grass or gravel to stop you retiring. But we'll have to see. One thing that is an ever-present in C5 is that unpredictability, that excitement, which of course a safety car can always bring. But C5 don't need a safety car to make it exciting. One of the tracks that, well, 3 DRS zones, we're going to see some racing tonight. I will assure you of that. We have some good support for the AlphaTauri team. Shaq dominance. Daddy Spritz doing a good job. Yes, he is. Lucas and Bakker supporting him from the grandstands, you could say. Just waiting for the drivers to select fuel modes and strategies. Oh, some people ready up. Is that a rule? If you're ready up before the host, some leagues it is. I got a friend with a race ban once for doing that. Anyway, we move on. It's going to be a dry race. Sunny skies in Spielberg. And we'll have to see what the tyres people have gone for. TDR. I know SFR do it. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Shagtak leads them away on the formation lap. It's Pui in P2, Zabajaka in 3rd, Daddy Spritz 4th, Fifi in P5, then you've got Huss 6th, Milo 7th, Matt Johnson 8th, Annoy Gamer 9th, Cosmo 10th, I'll tape on the soft tyres in the Renault in P11, Jones also on the soft tyres in P12, Octavio also on the soft tyres, and we have a car spinning there, but happened in C1 last night, I believe. And that might be Matt Johnson. Skipper on the soft tyres in P14. No one could have possibly guessed, out of the 5 guys who have a free choice of tyres, no one would have put money on it being soft, hard. But Hugen going for that complete alternate strategy, maybe hoping for a bit of a safety car or VSC to take advantage of later in the race. But we've got a clear 5 course, 11 to 14, could have a brand new set of softs to play with, which will give them the advantage you would have thought in the early phases of this race. As they make their way through the middle sector. Oh, Shaq got an engineer. Evil Master is saying he's going to be Shaq's engineer. Give the guy on pole a bit of guidance. The Mercedes driver, of course Mercedes won last night in C1. Very good result for the debutante. Not the word? Probably. Shame about the other Mercedes, but we'll move on. Shaq lines up on the grid. Everybody starting to bunch up as they head towards... oh, you always are. Very nice. Team Mercedes, thank you. He's doing a very good job in C5 this season. And hopefully, from an overall constructor's point of view, that can carry on. As everyone slots into their grid slots, it's time to get racing. It's not Merc bias, it's... where it is, 4 lights, 5 lights here for the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and away we go. Looks like Jacques got a really good start. The Williams further back. I think it's had a bit of a stinker. Haas looking down the inside on the Alfa Romeo as we're heading towards turn 1. That's a little bit deep on the brakes, and there's 4 cars going off the track. They're trying to find out what's happening here. Fifi's managed to get to P3. Haas has retired near the back of the field. We're trying to find out what's happened. Daddy Spritz has been caught up in this action, and there is a yellow flag. No safety car though, and Haas, unfortunately for him, in the barrier. Didn't quite see what happened there. Zabajaka making the move on Shack Attack up at the top, and there's what is happening? Further back, there's about 5 cars of breath. up at turn 2. Still yellow flags waving down at turn 1, but no safety car off the sorts. No gamers made up 4 places on this current lap. Cosmo maybe trying to look for a move around the outside of the Alpha, around the outside of the Mercedes. No way through though. No gamer shuts the door firmly on that one. Matt Johnson, can he take advantage? He's got the best seat in the house. As Cosmo maybe thinking about a move down the inside, but you're going to have no way past there. How is that was not a safety car for lap 1? I will not know. Cosmo's got much more grip in his middle sector than the 2 cars in front, and really challenging the back of that Mercedes, really pushing at the moment. You might expect, trying to capitalise early, and Cosmo, well, he's all the way back in the game. What do you think about moving to the final corner? No, he won't. Got a little bit deep. Will that allow Matt Johnson? There might have been a warning dished out here or there as drivers start to slide a little bit wide. The timing screen is now going to have a fun one. Is that Skipper making a move down the inside of Olte? And the Williams on the inside of Cosmo. We don't know which way to look. Poor exit though for Cosmo, and he's now challenging another gamer behind though. Skipper and Olte still battling away. There's another gamer. Whole actually round the outside goes the Alfa Romeo McLaren of Skipper, trying to go around the outside of Olte. Bit of wheel bang. That's a Verstappen Leclerc moment if ever I've seen it. And Octavio just behind. Can he get the run on the pair of them? Not quite on this occasion, I do not think. But still, they're going wheel to wheel. The McLaren and the Renault. Renault goes down the inside. Has he gone a little bit deep? Skipper might look for the switch back here. Can he get the traction? I don't think he's quite got the legs to find a way through. And into the middle sector we go once again. It's a bit more follow the leader for the next couple of corners. But what a hectic start to this Grand Prix. And in the meantime, we've had Pui and Daddy Spritz both into the pit lane. That'll put them a little bit out of sync. They'll be hoping for a safety car. But judging for that from that lap 1 incident, it looks like that Marlon doesn't want to come out on track this evening. Shagzak sets another fastest lap of the race. He's starting to stretch ahead out in front, 1.8 seconds. Already broken that DRS window, which is so crucial with 3 DRS zones on this lap. 2 seconds out in front, it could be quite pivotal, and he'd be hoping the cars behind start to battle quite a bit. Octavio close to the back of Skipper. Of course, Skipper has DRS in defence as well. Skipper covers the inside. Octavio maybe trying to look for a move around the outside. Can he get a switchback on his rival? Had to think about the outside, but Skipper shuts the door. Poor exit though for Skipper. I think he's going to get away with it though as they run down towards turn number 4. And Fifi's actually looking to make a move on Zabajaka. They're wheel to wheel up in the battle for P2. But the AlphaTauri hasn't got quite the legs and has to stay in P3 on this occasion. Runs a little bit wide, but he's not going to get punished for it. Don't know which way to look in the opening phase of this race. Battles up and down the field, and this battle between Fifi and Zabajaka just allowing Shagatak out front to stretch his advantage even more as they push on to start lap number 4. And Shagatak now first person into the 1 minute 6s. We'll see who could be under threat on the run up towards turn number 3. Is Fifi close enough? Looks, oh, and the Williams having a big moment there. Matt Johnson managed to hold the car, but it means he's not going to be able to challenge up the hill. But the battle that never fails to disappoint. Olte, Skipper and Octavio still going at it. The Rebel driver maybe trying to look for another way round the outside. Who can get the best of the exits? Skipper got a great launch, almost off of the curbs. Is he close enough? Challenge Olte. Olte doesn't have DRS. This could allow Skipper to go down the inside as we head towards turn number 4. And maybe the Renault has accepted his fate on this occasion as the McLaren driver moves himself up in a P8, a little bit deep on the brakes, a little bit too deep on the brakes. Goes off onto the gravel. Cars need to be careful when avoiding it. Skipper spins it back round in quite dramatic and well executed fashion. Unfortunately, he's lost a lot of time there. Just a little bit too deep on the brakes. Had the move done. Just pushing that a little bit too much because it's a fierce battle between these 3, and luckily he hasn't lost too much time. No damage, of course, and he wouldn't send out the inside there. I'm certain. Got to be careful of penalties as well. Drivers starting to get them. They're coming in thick and fast now with Zabajaka and Fifi in their fierce battle up at the front, having a penalty or 2. Cosmo right behind the back of Milo, and that's cost his exit. Hasn't got any ERS to play with, and it's one of the tracks that we've a little bit more important to have a look, and he's actually got no ERS left. Cosmo really pushing in these opening couple of laps and almost taps the back of the McLaren. Octavio looking for a way down the inside. He's just got the nose in, but not close enough, and Jones is going to take advantage. It's a great move from Jones. Clean around the outside of Octavio. That's fantastic stuff. Has he got the legs to jump and get ahead of Olte? He's going to try to go down the inside, down into turn number 4. Is he late up on the brakes? Yes, he is. He shut the door very firmly. And Olte Has he picked up a little bit of damage? There was a little bit of contact. I don't think he has, but what he has picked up is now P10 because Octavio's made away with a much better exit, but that could be a lock-up. And they're still going wheel to wheel. And Octavio just runs up a little bit wide and loses the position once again. They're swapping positions all over this lap. I say, we've almost had a move at every single corner at this point. There's still the battle rages on for P9. They're still in close proximity of each other. And with DRS still in full use, you can see they're just running out of overtake available to them, as everyone is just in a battle at the moment. Jones now trying to chase after Matt Johnson and Noigema up the road. Oh, Skipper and Hugen, what's happened down there? Just a move down at turn one. Skipper though runs a little bit wide. No DRS for the Alpha Tauri. And Fifi making a move. They're wheel to wheel as they go down towards turn number 4. Fifi on the inside. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Zabajaka tries to switch back. This could be a great defensive move and get it all sorted. Now they're going to be wheel to wheel as they head towards turn number 6. The cars behind, hoping that a bit of an incident round the outside from the racing point. They're still side by side as they drop now down towards turn 7, entering this final sector. Who's going to come out on top? It's the racing point, just about holding on, but where the car goes, how on earth he's held on to that, I do not know. And now Milo's getting involved in the battle for P2. Shakazaka out in front is absolutely loving the sight of this as he just sees the time go up and up and up. Big D from Milo, and that's going to allow Cosmo to right on the back of the McLaren driver. They're battling down towards turn 1. Who's going to come out on top this time around? The Alfa Romeo trying to move up in a P4, his highest position in the race, making him move up the front of that. Fifi sweeping around the outside, or just in defence there at the moment. Cosmo's made the move stick though. Milo, can he fight him back up towarrs turn number 2? But one move that might be on. Zabajak has hit 0%, but he's going to be ahead. Can Fifi fight this one around the outside? Skipper picks up his third and final, wanting to get 3 seconds off penalties. Zabajaka has hold on to P2. He's managed to regain a position, but just behind. Fifi is under attack now from Cosmo. He's got one place on the slap. He now wants a second one down the inside. The battle between the two Alphas is on. Oh, that was almost a Hamilton Albon incident there, and Fifi just about holding on at this point. Another look down the inside. Octavio almost found a way past Alte, but no way. Oh, he has found a way past Alte on the exit there, and the Red Bull does get ahead of the Renault, but we know they like to switch positions quite a bit in this race. We can have a breather for a moment. A Noigema on the back of the train as well. We've got a 5-car fight for P2 now. Matt Johnson slowly reeling them in as well as they start to battle, and Jones as well in P8 wanting to get involved in this fight for P2. And I had a feeling, oh, that's a big moment for Fifi, and anyone that has a moment in this train is going to get pounced on, because here comes Cosmo's a drag race up the hill. No ERS available for the Alfa Romeo driver. Zabajak can breathe a sigh of relief on this lap down the inside from Cosmo. It looks like he can try and position. Olte's made a move. He's now marking back up in a P9, and Fifi has to tuck into the slipstream because Cosmo got the elbows down. He's made a way past. Will Fifi send one down the inside? Who's late enough on the brakes? He's going to try it. Cosmo's too deep. Fifi's too deep. Bit of a wheel bang. Can Milo get involved? No, he can't. Zabajaka still holds on to P2 while all this is happening. Further back, Olte keeping ahead of Octavio just about as they headed into the braking zone. And here comes Shakatak, oblivious to it all. He's loving life out in front. Zabajaka picks up another 3-second time penalty. They're pushing a little bit too much in the battle to keep ahead. That's not the car I wanted to see. This is. Fifi a little bit deep. Milo, will he think about a move? Can he try and line one up? Fifi's hit the curb. Fifi's hit the curb big time. Had to avoid him. Fifi's into the wall. No major damage for him there. A Noigema closes in. Milo did well to avoid it, in all honesty. Almost lost the car himself. And how have we not even got a VSC? I mean, the lad smashed into the wall. I never know. I will never know. That has sort of spread the train out a little bit. Up at the top as Cosmo tries to close in. Yellow flag in sector 1. I think things got bad for worse from Fifi on really sort of overheated tyres. Has spun it down in turn 1. It's so easy to do when your tyres aren't boiling hot, but unfortunately that's happened for him. Cosmo trying to find go for a gap that just, well, when he flicked to it, didn't seem to be there. No way through around the outside. And Zabajaka, after all of this, has somehow managed to hold on to P2. I don't know how. That's going to be a warning, I would imagine, for Cosmo. Just a bit of a wiggle, sent him wide. And we can breathe a sigh of relief. I'd love a safety car at some point. If this race gets a little bit too spread out, it would be great just to bunch them all back up again. But Milo, he's adamant he's not coming out this evening. We've had two probably potentially safety car worthy incidents, and unfortunately Bert said no to both of them. Cosmo, he's made his way up through the field. He's used all of the ERS he's got available to him, and I think Applejack hasn't got much either. Will we see a late lunge up into turn 3, or maybe just think about line the move up for the run towards turn 4? Because Cosmo's gone a little bit deep. It's going to compromise his exit as well, and Milo is waiting to pounce on any opportunities. Fifi into the pit lane, looking to maybe mix up the strategy, try a bit of an undercut, just try and regain some of the time he's lost from his spins, hard tyres. So then, end of the race, you would imagine Annoyed Gamer's got a really good exit, but no way through on Milo on this lap. As we weave our way towards the end of the final lap, we're on lap 10. Almost at a third race distance here in Austria. Yellow flags in sector 3. That's Matt Johnson basing the wrong way. Has he got wing damage? Not too sure. Rejoins nice and safely. Fair play to him. I think he could be into the pit lane straight away. This could be awkward between himself and the skipper. That's not the one I wanted to see. That is nothing too major on that occasion. As now the run up towards turn number 3. He looks a lot closer this time around, Cosmo. But Zabijak's actually pulling away. I think maybe just having hasn't got much more ERS, but he's got a tiny bit. And as they go up in towards turn 3, delicately on the power there for the Alfa Romeo, but Zabijak seems to have that initial launch, better straight line speed. I sort of think, and maybe that's why he's sort of king on the straights, and he's doing so well to hold on to this position he's in the race. Just behind, patiently waiting. Octavio has been overtaken by Olte. He sent it down the inside. They're still battling these two, and as they make their way into the middle sector, the heart of the middle sector, the Renault has a slot behind for the next couple of corners, but I'm sure he'll be wanting to attack once again when we get back round to the 3 DRS zones. It just helps for the racing that they're one after the other. Cosmo picks up 3 seconds for his race time. It is looking quite dark above. I've been assured, and that's going to be a warning for the Renault, I've been assured that it's going to be a dry run. As Cosmo seems this time around has got a much better exit. He just can't really, even with DRS, the fact he's got no ERS at all, I think just means Zabijak's really compromised himself though. With that line, he's had a poor exit as well. This could be Cosmo's chance as we run down towards turn number 4. Zabijak has been held. These are not great camera angles at all. Down round the outside goes the Alfa Romeo. Who's going to come out on top? He's going to have the better exit just on the outside line. They're still going to be wheel to wheel. Trying to hang around the outside. Zabijak once again hangs it round the outside. Great defence. Will we see him move into turn 7? I don't think we will. The Racing Point comes out on top once more. That's a good defensive spot for Zabijak, and somehow he's holding on. Will we see him move now? Oh, this is going to get feisty into turn 9. Will we see someone dart into the pit lane? I hope not, because you've got to take the line into the pits. But still, they push on out in front. And Chakatak, he's loving life. Up in that P1's position. Happy as Larry at the moment. And now the run up towards turn number 3. Once again, just can't get close enough. Can't get close enough as he hits 0% on the ERS, builds it back up to about 13% in the braking zone. Gets on the power, can't quite get away cleanly. And Milo and Annoyed Gamer playing it a little bit tactically potentially. They're thinking about the long run here. They've been saving their ERS, and they're up on the 80% to the pair of them. I mean, if they wanted, just on the pure ERS delta, they could really have a go at these top two. We're just going hammer and tong at the moment, and almost building a gap, for them. They're just how fiercely they're battling. They're really pushing each other. And Milo and Annoyed Gamer saying thank you very much, and just getting dragged on, getting dragged along nicely with the pace, and actually pulling the trigger early here. Oh, he might have a problem with that. I would. I don't think Zabijak sort of took the proper pit lane entry line. Cosmo did, or did it to the best of his ability. Oh, actually, they're double stacking at Racing Point. Double stacking at Racing Point. Will we see some undercuts? Medium tyres. And he got held. Nope, just a bit of a sort of glitchiness. And it looks like Jones had a slightly slow pit stop. He's gone onto the hard tyres though. Zabajaka, the only one going onto the mediums, everyone else going onto the hards. And actually racing straight out of the pit lane. Eugen and Zabajaka probably getting back into this race after getting mixed up in lap 1 as well. No Gamer and Milo, will they think about coming in this lap, or will they think about extending? A bit like Shack Attack out in front. Of course, Annoy Gamer might not want to double stack with his Mercedes teammate, as Shack Attack extends for another lap. He's happy on these soft tyres, and both of the guys in second and third come into the pit lane. Be a new set of tyres for them. It'd be a battle of the pit stops. Milo getting on the grass and really pushing it, and actually pushing it a little bit too much. And that, Annoy Gamer just showed there why it's better just to come in slowly, because it's a 5-second penalty for Milo. Nice pit stop down at Mercedes. Medium tyres for the pair of them. Zabajaka's the one we will watch. Where is he going to feed in? He's actually quite a bit ahead of Milo. And we've got battle straight out the pit lane. Milo and Cosmo going at it. Milo's actually made the undercut work on Cosmo. Oh, just a bit of an awkward coming together there. Milo's on the inside. Goes in a tiny bit deeper. Cosmo can't quite get the switch back. I think on those hard tyres doesn't have the grip, and actually gets sort of shoulder barged a little bit wide, and RLH straight out the pits. Just fighting away with Daddy Spritz. Daddy Spritz trying to look for a bit of a comeback drive down the inside from the Renault. Daddy Spritz goes in a little bit deep. Who can get the better of the exit? And I think with a helping hand of DRS, it is going to be RLH who keeps hold of that position. Shack Attack into the pits. The Mercedes crew serve him, and he is off on his way. He doesn't have to worry too much about Gabs behind. Skip it into the pit lane. Zabajaka around the outside. Says thank you very much. And he moves himself back up in a P2. Milo, though, getting ahead of Cosmo. Could we see that when we come towards the end of the race? Will the medium guys start to struggle a little bit? Will they start to feel the effects of the tyre wear? Especially in comparison to the hard running crew. Eugen quite close to the back of Annoy Gamer. No DRS for Annoy Gamer. The advantage for the Mercedes driver. 15 lap fresher medium tyres. So we're wanting to try and get that Alpha Tauri and actually just sheer grip on the exit, and the ability to turn in has helped him out a little bit there. And I think now it's a bit of time to breathe, take a breather. Actually, Zabajaka's reeled in. What's happened to Shack? The gap was 9 seconds. Is the undercut that powerful here? Actually, he's building it back up once again, but I assume he's not got no damage or anything. As Huss leaves the session. Daddy Spritz looking for a move, and they're wheel to wheel, and that's not gone off too well. The Alfa Romeo still facing the right way roughly. Can we get over this? I thought for a second that at the top left had flicked to like a safety car. I was like, really? That was a safety car. Nevertheless, not going the way for Daddy Spritz tonight. Still though, it's important to finish the race. You only get points if you finish. Pui closing in on Eugen. Pui trying to go past Eugen as he looks down the inside. Williams ahead of Alpha Tauri. Oh, and Eugen's going to send that one down the inside. That's not gone well. And actually, it's the Alpha Tauri that comes off worst. Matt Johnson manages to go round the outside as well for good measure. So actually ends up losing position to both Williams drivers. Okay, so Shack backed off, or sort of took it quite casual towards the end of his first stint. One being told from Evil Master, the tyres, his softs were 80%. But what it did mean is he could, less laps on the mediums, be a bit more comfortable at the end of the race. So clever tactics there from Mercedes. Using the gap to his advantage to run the softer compound. Daddy Spritz figure the 3 seconds, not many drivers, and that was a big moment for the Racing Point. I'll have a look on the penalties. That's not the way to find them. This is So well done so far to Annoy Gamer, Matt Johnson and Eugen. Only drivers without penalties. Couple guys on 6 seconds. Of course, Milo on 8 with that speeding in the pit lane warning. Oh, Jesus just had a sneeze. Milo closed into within a second of Zabajaka. Through turn 1 they go. Can he get a good exit? Can he challenge towards the top of the hill? Of course, Zabajaka's now got a bit more ERS after the pit stop. You sort of gain a bit as you go through the pit lane. No challenging up into turn 3. Can Milo get a good exit and find a way through? He's gaining on the racing point, not getting close enough on this occasion. Lock up from the racing point, but actually a much nicer line through turn number 4. Also pretty happy in P4 at the moment. Of course, on the hard tyres is he'll get the fun later on. You would expect as the mediums wear away. 16 laps, or just over half race distance. There's a bit of a lull in proceedings. That's Milo picking up. It might pick up a double warning there on the inside and on the outside if he was unlucky. And now is Milo close enough? He's activating overtake. DRS is enabled. Will he get close enough to make the move in towards turn 3? He's gaining on the Racing Point. Racing Point covers the inside. Milo's going the outside. There's a bit of a coming together there, and we could have a car facing the wrong way. We somehow don't. Sort of sliding there, both of them sliding their way through turn 3. Now actually damage there for Zabajaka. That front end plate you see is missing. Couldn't really point a finger there for who was to blame. I think maybe it was just sort of an awkward racing incident overtake, as both of them were pushing up at the top of turn 3. Who was latest on the brakes, sort of thing. Milo making those 1 lap fresher tyres. They're taking advantage of them. And Octavio's got 14 lap fresher tyres down the car in front of him. Can he use that to his advantage? It picks up 3 seconds, so not fully. Zabajaka might be trying to find a way back past. That was a bit of a moment there for Octavio. Managed to hold the car all together in the end. I don't think Zabajaka's going to get close enough as they go up towards turn 3. They're not yellow flags because that's Fifi. Off. Oh, and I caught that. That's going to be a slam dunk. Skipper and Ortega. Skipper's in the wall. Has he got front wing damage on that McLaren? I reckon he might have clipped the inside wall. Just spinning the car up, and there's that Fifi facing the wrong way. It is, unfortunately, dancing to the pit lane. Don't retire. Please don't retire in the pits. Hate it when they do that. Yellow flag is headed to 2. What's happened here? Mike Johnson off in the gravel. What's happened on the last couple of laps? It's all going wrong. As I'll say, makes a way past. Not a safety car, though, have we? I'm not salty at all. And Eugen under immense pressure from Octavio. Milo under immense pressure from Zabajaka. And there goes Zabajaka. Off and ahead. I think DRS will switch, though, in the favour of Milo. Zabajaka made the move before the DRS activation point. Can Milo come back at the racing point? Not on this lap, unfortunately. And what's happened to the McLaren? Yellow flags on the end of the lap. A lot of drivers into the pits, and Eugen's defence of P8 finally comes to an end. Octavio managed to find a way past on the much fresher tyres. That was an English. Milo close to the back of Zabajaka. Brand new softs for Matt Johnson and Skipper. Bit of a twitch there for Milo before he made his way into turn 9. And now as we run down towards turn 1, once again Fifi picking up 3 more seconds to be added to the end of his race. Oh, Milo really closing in. That's going to compromise his exit. May have just gone away with it, in all honesty, and Zabiak not having the best exit of himself. And covers the inside early. Milo's going to be forced a long way around as they head up the hill and into the braking zone. The McLaren is ahead. Of course, that means the DRS will then switch back the way of Zabiak. Actually, Milo's got a really good exit and could defend this one into turn 4. Now it's got a difficult task in the middle sector of trying to build a gap, trying to gather over a second to stop the attack from the Racing Point behind. Of course, the front wing damage on the Racing Point's going to make it really difficult to follow through these corners. Turn 6, turn 7, turn 9, turn 10. It's going to be really difficult for Zabiak, and I think he's just about to slot outside of a second. Cosmo is also another driver balancing on that second delta, and it looks like Zabiak has lost out, unfortunately. Just so Cosmo just over a second. I thought the rear might have gone there. Milo though says the fast lap of the race, helping out of DRS, and a bit of overtakes helps him with that one. Fast lap of the race. We'll see what the soft guys can do. 11th, 12th and 13th. We'll see if they can put a challenge to that fastest lap. Got 12 laps left in this race. We're at 2/3 distance. Eugen into the pit lane, finally getting rid of those hard tyres. He'll be glad to see the back of those. Looks like he should be able to rejoin ahead of Daddy Spritz. Cosmo is really close on Zabiak. Bit of a mistake in the middle sector, or just struggling with that front end. As Matt Johnson says, it's fast lap of the race. The soft guys now starting to put in the times. And Cosmo getting all over the back of that Racing Point. Zabiak really struggling with that front wing damage, I think. Could we see him move into turn 1? We might do, you know. He flicks to the inside, he's ahead, and actually it's like Zabiak has, like he sort of accepted that one, didn't want any awkwardness into turn 1. And sort of played a little bit sensibly though. He's now got a challenge down the inside, up into turn 3. He's got the nose in there. Cosmo runs a little bit wide, bit of a coming together on the exit. And now it's a drag race away, but Zabiak has got DRS. They're dueling away in front. This race is reignited. He's going to be on the grass. Got to be brave to be on the grass. 0% ERS. He sends it down the inside. Late on the brakes. Lock up. Somehow gets through. Annoyed Gamer there with the switchback. And he's managed to find a way past. Great move from Annoyed Gamer. Taking advantage there of the battle in front. Read the situation very well. And with no penalties, he could, well, be one for the podium. You would imagine. Cosmo had a massive twitch there. How on earth has he managed to hold on to the car? I remember there was one early on in this race. I think it was one of the Williams. Cosmo was doing dummies every lap to the pit lane because he's on those hard tyres. So grip-wise, he's going to be losing out a little bit at the moment, you would imagine. But nevertheless, he's wringing the neck of that thing. Pooey doing a fantastic job as well. On 23 lap old hards, he's taking advantage of the battle, just slowly reeled himself in, but he's going to really start to struggle, and I imagine he might be forced into the pit lane in a little bit. I'm not sure if he can get to the end on those. We'll see now as he goes up towards, that was an interesting line around the outside from Bubby. He's just gone in way too deep, picks up 3 seconds for his troubles and sort of loses touch of the cars in front for a brief moment. Actually drops outside of a second. Some of these drivers are playing how little ERS can we have all race. I imagine that doesn't do the best for your durability, but I think that's a slight effect on your sort of performance. And Rebecca runs a little bit wide. Daddy Spritz, fastest lap of the race in the Alfa Romeo. One of the drivers on the sort of fresher softs. Have a quick penalty check. 11 seconds for Milo, so it could sort of, Annoyed Game is in a great place to sort of get P2 in this race. Actually, he massively is. 2 of the cars in front have 9+ seconds, 2 cars behind have 9+ seconds, and 3 drivers have 6 seconds. Eugen as well could take advantage if he can sort of reel his way back in on those soft tyres. So there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of drivers here. Penalties could play a part in this one. We'll see gap to leader. See 9 seconds off the front, Cosmo. So he's sorry, no game. So he should be jumping Milo at this rate. Interesting to see. Probably one of the worst tracks for penalties you would imagine on the game. There's quite a lot of corners. You can just run that little bit wide, and we're coming up to one of them, which is so easy to do. Running wide on the exit turn 6. And actually the next one as well. Turn 7 through turn 8. Who's reeled himself back in to the battle on those old hards. How late will he go? Will he try and go to the end on these tyres? Will he bolt on a set of softs for a last mad dash at the end? Will he have a mad dash into turn 1? As I think, it just doesn't have the legs to get alongside the Racing Point. Better turn in as well. You could just see from the Williams, bit of a twitch though, I think, as he got really into the turbulent wake of Zabajaka. Looks now to the outside. There's a battle in front as well. As an Gamer, can he find a way past it? I don't think he can. Pubi though is going to go around the outside of Zabajaka. No, he's not, because he's going to get Leclerc on the exit. Zabajaka somehow holds on to this one as well, but the battle carries on. And Gamer, I think, will stay in P4 after turn 4, and Zabajaka's going to hold on to P5 for the time being. But can Pubi get a better exit on those old tyres? I don't think he can, and somehow he keeps the rear in check. Well, these guys have been practicing sort of saving themselves from moments. Have some very good saves so far this evening as they bolt away with another lap in mind. Is he thinking about the pit lane? I think he might just be trying to sort of extend for as long as possible. There's a nice gap behind Pubi that even with penalties he can sort of slot into. Oh, that was a twitch from Zabajak, wasn't it? Corrected it nicely, or just sort of held it nicely. In the end, is Pubi going to find a way past this time around? I think the problem is that by the time they get to the braking zone, he doesn't quite have the grip to challenge. When he slams on the brakes, looking to the outside now, he's going to get pretty feisty up the hill. Zabajaka's really late on the brakes and judged it pretty much well to perfection and holds on for the time being. Both of them have DRS, which doesn't help this battle. Now Pubi looks to the inside. There's still wheel to wheel. Bit of wheel banging as we head down in towards turn number 4. Lockups all round. There's still wheel to wheel. Who's going to be the one that's going to yield first? And actually, a bit of contact, and Pubi is facing the wrong way on the exit of turn 5 as they go in towards turn 6. Bit of contact and spinning it round. That's not going to do his tyres any good. Gets going once again, and that's taking Zabajaka out of DRS range of the cars in front, and that's a really wide line from Cosmo. Not a line I would recommend. The way he's going, he doesn't need roads. Gamer trying to get on the power as early as he possibly can. Will he look for a move at the top of the hill? He's going to be closing in and in. Pubi into the pit lane now, giving up on those hard tyres. Really, that was a really defensive line from Cosmo. He's gone in too deep. And Gamer says thank you very much and gets ahead on that occasion. Gamer and Eugen, only guys about penalties at the moment, so special well done to them. Some drivers are pushing that a little bit too much and taking the risk. Daddy Spritz out front, Shack Attack out front. Apologies. Happy at the moment, I would imagine. Tour Skipper just behind him. And we've got 5 laps left in this race. And it's all quieting down for a moment or two. Nothing to report for the time being. Pubi coming out in P8 on a brand new set of softs. We could see a push for fastest lap from the Williams driver. And can he hunt down Octavio? That will be something to see. You know what? We'll get the lap date. We'll get the lap data up. And he picks up 3 seconds warning. But let's go for an onboard lap with Pubi around the Austrian circuit and see how he fares on this lap. Because I imagine it could be a push for the fastest lap. Brand new set of softs. See what he can do. Climbing up the hill now. Up towards the top of the hill. One of the highest points on the circuit. I think the highest point is midway down the straight, the following straight. But so far, 7.5 hundredths up. And getting a nice clean exit on this occasion. Not opting to use a bit of overtake, so maybe just sort of going for a normal stint. But I think that pace advantage he's going to have in the middle sector will be clear. Bit of short shifting up in a third. And away he goes. Through turn 6 we go. Just has the grip, you can see, but he's loving life on these soft tyres. I've taken the hards so far into this race. 10th up on his personal time. And now the final sector, the grip's going to feel immense, I would imagine, for him as he flicks it in. Drops it down into 7th gear. Great speed through there. Final corner we go. What's the time going to be for the Williams driver? Can he challenge for that fastest lap? Unfortunately, oh, he does. 1 minute 6.4. There we go. A storming final sector. Got him the time at the end of the day. I might watch him again, to be honest. He's reeling in Octavio at a rate of knots. Eugen also getting close to the back of Alte. Let it down on this occasion. That's a fancy line. I didn't do that. Maybe that's why I was a bit slower. Should have been taking the curb there. Opening up turn 3 and being able to carry in a little bit more speed. Now opting for a little boost of overtake. See how this middle sector fares. It's been quite overcast this whole race. Just going to help the guys using the racing line. Because at turn 1 especially, it's quite hard to see it because of the sunlight. And Zabajak gets another 3-second time penalty. And Pui finding loads of time in the middle sector. Half a second up at the moment. He picks up 3 seconds most warning, but he could be picking up the bonus point for fastest lap. The yellow flag. Safety car has been called out. Fifi. Where is Fifi? Well, we don't know. That's the problem. At turn 1. Can I try and find someone who can see it? I might be able to. What are people going to do? Did it have to come out now? I mean, we'd sort of... Oh! Daddy Sprint's got a drive-through. Octavia just flew past Pui there. There is Fifi. He spun it. Spun the rears up. The field's not even going to sort of smush together. Advantage annoy gamer, you must say. Yeah, Octavia got annoyed, ignoring yellow flags, so that might have been when he overtook. Might have been when he overtook whoever he overtook. Daddy Spritz is into the pit lane. Someone's facing the wrong way. That was Eugen. Mike Johnson gets 3 seconds. We'll have to do a penalty check in the moment. Shack Attack staying out. Milo staying out. Annoyed Gamer staying out. I think the guys probably know it's going to be a short safety car. Hoping the field don't bunch up. Zabajaka is into the pits. Looks like Jones could be thinking about coming in as well. Not quite sure what to do. The safety car has to come in. Oh, and that's not gone well. What on earth happened there? Penalties have been dished out. I'm not entirely sure what's gone on there. Annoyed Gamer has picked up some penalties. His first of the day. I mean, Cosmo's got 17. He's not far for disqualification. Drive-through for Jones, of course, and Daddy Spritz. We missed Jones's one. Zabajaka rejoins the race in P7. The safety car will be in this lap. So these guys are going to be pushing to try and catch the back of the field. Safety car is in this lap, so guys, it's got a bit of a move on. I'm hoping that... Oh, and Eugen and Matt Johnson are duelling away. That's because he's in the pit lane. Thanks for telling me. You know what? Let's ignore penalties. Everyone's got them now. Pui on a brand new set of softs could be pretty racy, but can he get to the back of the field? That's the question we've got to ask ourselves. If I'm Shack Attack... Oh, that's an interesting line through there. If I'm Shack Attack, I'm pushing. I think he's gone. He's trying to go as early as he can. He doesn't want the field to bunch up. He wants it to be spread out. And as he goes around the final corner, there's position changes going on. There's people coming into the pit lane. People staying out, people not staying out. Daddy Spritz gets to the way. So does Skipper. And we're racing once again here in Spielberg. People into the pit lane. Not sure what for. Drive-throughs it could be. I think it looks like drive-throughs. Well, actually, Cosmo's pitting for tyres. There's a duel up the road, is there? No. The safety car's come too close to the end of the race, really. Oh, and someone's gone wide. I think that's just Daddy Spritz getting in the way. Fair enough. And now Pui, of course, on the fresh softs, is really racy. at the moment. And of course he's got the massive tyre advantage over Octavio. He's going to try and go round the outside as they run towards turn number 6. He's got the grip to do it, and he goes clean around the outside. He's up into P4. And penalties will mix this race up completely, I'm sure. So we'll have to just wait for the final sort of running order in this one. When we start the final lap, what can Pui do? I'm sure they'll all know the penalties of each other, so they won't. They'll pick their battles. I'm sure Zabajaka as well. Flying on a set of softs. Was that the fastest lap? Who's got the fastest lap? So that's quite quick. It's 105.4 for Pui. Closing in the back of an Game, of course, no DRS on this lap. So everyone being able to hold on to their positions much more easily. And I think this could be the battle we could see towards the end of the Grand Prix. We're not sure. I know Gamer's penalty might get... Oh my god, and that's not gone well for Pui at all. Too deep on the brakes. Yellow flag at turn 1 because Matt Johnson's in the wall on old softs. And someone's gone off. I think that's Teddy Spritz up at turn 3. But Shag Attack, he's dealt with anything that's thrown at him. He's not really been involved in the race too much today. Out in front, enjoying life, put the hammer down. Great lap in qualifying, got in pole, and he rounds the final corner to win and take the championship lead of C5. Milo would take a well-earned P2 with a Gamer crossing the line in 3rd, which now makes it Mercedes 1-2. Pui drops down to P6 at the moment as Octavio is 4th, Zabajaka 5th, and they're battling away at turn 1. Nevertheless, Jones into the pits. Because he's got to serve his drive-through on the last lap. I think that's a bit of Schumacher-esque stuff. I'm not really sure. But he finishes P7. He's actually got a 20-second time penalty for unserved warnings. Cosmo crosses the line. He jumps up and he sets the fast lap of the race. 104.7. Great final lap for him. And Matt Johnson will take P10 with Hugen taking 11th. Time to take a breather. I think in the end, Pui almost getting P5, but Mercedes 1-2, McLaren in 3rd, and Hugen takes the final spot in P11. One person across the line, at least. Driver Day goes towards Octavia for most positions gained. We'll see how Driver Day fares. And of course, the poll this week. Of course, you can vote for your favourites, whoever you thought deserved Driver of the Day. But I'm sure Evil Master and Shagtack will be happy. Evil Master, the brains behind the operation, and Shagtack putting the pace down on circuit, celebrating there with his teammate. And Milo, another podium for him. Just avoiding all the dramas and getting the good results. He'll be happy with that one. I would imagine it's Shagtack from an Gamer, Milo, that's your podium. Then it's Octavio, Zabajaka, Pui, Alte, Cosmo, Jones, Matt Johnson, Hugen, Skipper, Daddy Spritz, and then your non-finishers, Fifi and Haas. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been another great race. And of course, we'll see everyone next week in France, Le Castellet. It may be boring in real life, but I'm sure it won't be boring with us. So we'll see everyone starting Tuesday with C2 and C4. Wednesday, C1 and C3. And of course, the best day of the week, C5 and C6 on a Thursday. See you for next week in France.